My name is Peter Chakowski, creator of the Story Engine deck and the Story Engine deck of worlds, and today I'm going to show you how to use Deck of Worlds to create your own micro setting, instantly prompted using the 6 types of cards in the deck. You can download a free demo of the deck to try out for yourself at deckofworlds.com/demo. Basically, it's a creative tool to help writers and tabletop role players come up with settings for either specific locations or entire world maps that have a really interesting and dynamic past, present, and future that really binds the world together. We always start by drawing a region card. And regions are terrain types or environment types that basically prevail over the entire micro setting that you're creating, form the hub or the center point that you're going to arrange the rest of your cards around. So I drew cliffs. Next, I'm going to draw a landmark card. Landmark cards are points of interest for your setting, and they can come in the form of either naturally occurring points of interest or landmarks, such as a lake, or also what I would call a constructed point of interest or a constructed landmark, such as camp. And this is just to give you options for creating either completely wilderness settings or settings that have some kind of people living in them, some kind of habitation or presence. I am going to go with camp. I'm going to say that the camp is at the top of the cliffs. Next up, I am going to draw a namesake card. Namesake cards are little nicknames or in-world lore-based names that can be applied to either the region you've chosen or to the landmarks in that region. And this doesn't have to be a literal name that people in the world use, but it's just meant to give it some kind of name that it's known by that raises a question about how it got to receive that name. This is just to sort of jumpstart the creative process of thinking about what the background of this area is like. So I have got narrow, that creaks, of ghosts, and of truth. Now, something that's specific to namesake cards is the fact that the top cue is in a different text orientation to the rest. And this is specifically so that you can place that top cue before the region or the landmark that you want it to describe. So the narrow cliffs, narrow would go on top. Otherwise, all other cards in the game are designed to be tucked underneath. So you'd have the Cliffs of Ghosts or the Cliff of Ghosts. Or I could rotate this and have the Cliffs of Truth. Right now, the combination of words that's speaking to me is actually not with the cliffs, but with the camp. I kind of like the idea of a camp of ghosts where people go when they're done their adventuring days to just sort of retire and relax. And they call themselves ghosts because they no longer participate in the living world, but really it's actually not a forlorn place, it's a happy place. That's what I'm imagining based on first impressions, but the thing that I really like about the deck system and about the card-based system is that it's so easy to go back and edit your choices. So if I wanted to go back and make it the narrow cliffs, I just pull that card out, put it in the new place, and then I continue creating based on that new choice. So next up, I'm going to draw what's called an origin card. And origin cards contain just different significant moments or aspects of the area's past. This can be a significant moment that occurred there, this can be an event that led to its creation or a really significant aspect of its present, or it can even just be something that originated in this area, that it's known for coming out of its past or history. Origin of a combat style, discovered due to a lightning strike, origin of an infamous military tactic, founded for military protection. Right now, I like the idea of origin of a combat style. Actually, I like this a lot because it could be that the Camp of Ghosts, where these adventurers go to retire, is an area that a lot of sort of young greenhorn adventurers want to go visit, because the people who are there are people who have survived and lived a long time adventuring. They know a lot about how to survive, they know a lot about combat, and so it might be a really prized location to track down and to get to from young adventurers who really want to learn from the best. And something that I think would be really interesting is if the people who tend to end up in the Camp of Ghosts, who tend to retire here, are people who aren't really interested in continuing to pass on ways of violence. So coaxing them into teaching you might be a really interesting, just social challenge for a character in a novel to do, or for an adventuring party who wants to learn a new tactic or who wants to meet some kind of epic adventurer and find out information from them. And maybe there's a particular set of combat tactics that are known as sort of like the ghost fighting or ghost combat, and it's really designed to, not even necessarily to win combats, but just to make sure that you live to continue fighting or live to continue adventuring. Next, I am going to draw an attribute card. And attribute cards are specifically things that are designed to describe the present day area. What is it like right now? Expansionist agenda, unusual wildlife activity, scenic vistas, regional holiday celebration. I kind of like a regional holiday celebration where all these retired adventurers celebrate the fact that they are getting to enjoy the quiet life, getting to enjoy no longer being responsible for fighting off monsters or saving the realm. I also really like unusual wildlife activity for the cliffs. The trial of reaching this camp on top of the cliff is getting up and surviving some kind of cliff-based life form. Aggressive or protective set of like mountain rams, mountain goats, that are known for like headbutting people off the cliffs. So part of the trial of getting there is just being able to climb and dodge all these attacks, or figuring out a route that's really difficult to avoid the nests of mountain goats. Or alternatively, I'm just thinking of I think it's a Planet Earth video or episode where you see a snow leopard, I want to say. There could be this apex predator that lives on the cliff. Getting up there means learning how to evade it or avoid detection or understand its hunting patterns so that it doesn't catch you. So I'm definitely going to go with unusual wildlife activity. One of the things that I like about, again, this sort of open-ended prompt-based system is that you can do a little bit of improv, you can do a little bit of yes and. Why not have an apex predator and the rams? The rams are the thing that usually feed it. Then this apex predator is, every now and then will come out and eat a bunch of them, or if there's an adventurer on that cliff, it's gonna eat the adventurer. So it really raises the stakes. And lastly, I'm going to draw an advent card. And advent cards are really where you get to see setting and story meet. Advent cards are events or changes or conflicts that are coming to the area and could change its future. So between origin, attribute, advent, you get this full swath of storytelling around the area's past, present, and future. But in particular with the advent, what you have is an opportunity for your characters, whether you're writing a novel and these are the characters in your novel, or a short story, or whether you're doing tabletop roleplay and these are going to be things that the characters in the party are going to do, the advent card is really an opportunity for them to get involved in a conflict that affects the world and is really rooted in the specific aspects of the world. So this advent card I've drawn, the fate of a political prisoner is dividing the population. And for every advent, you'll also see there are 3 suggestions or twists or specific ways that you could choose to interpret this prompt. This is to make the advents more reusable so that you can revisit them and try a really different angle on them. And you can also entirely ignore those if just that base prompt at the top gives you enough to go on. So the fate of a political prisoner is dividing the population, and that can be a foreign ambassador, a political dissident, or a former leader. And the other prompt that comes with this one is a new commune is setting up without permission. The 3 options for how to interpret this are that their mandate is religious, political, or artistic. So I'm gonna go and not use any of those because I instantly had an idea when I picked this one up. There is a new commune setting up of like more and more greenhorns are starting to come visit the camp of ghosts. More and more starting adventurers want to learn from these people. And they've almost set up their own commune next to it where they like observe them or are trying to follow them or learn their ways. It's one of sort of my favorite storylines to explore when you're doing any story about heroes, which is that a hero is someone who has incredible symbolic importance and also tactical importance for the realm, right? Maybe their community really depends on them. Maybe the world isn't safe unless they keep fighting. However, a hero is also a person, right? It's someone who has their own doubts and flaws and needs, and maybe they don't always want to be responsible for taking care of the realm, right? That can be exhausting. That burden over time, especially as they age, is going to really change and wear them down. So the idea that you have this commune that's set up, that's trying to learn from them, that's trying to pressure them to share their secrets, to maintain their responsibilities to protecting the realm, and that's very unwelcome. I like that tension. I like that I can understand the motivations of both sides of this conflict and why they want what they want, but why the things that they want are at first seem incompatible, or where coming to a compromise or coming to a resolution is going to lead to really interesting storytelling opportunities. This is something where I might flesh out more details when I start writing, but I like the idea that the commune is at the top of the cliff, that like basically next to the camp of ghosts, there's this, like, the camp of noobs or something, I don't know what you'd want to call it, the camp of greenhorns, or they could be set up at the base of the cliff and it's more of a base camp for going up and trying to approach the camp of ghosts. I can see it being really interesting every time a character or a hero decides they're going to try and climb the cliff or scale the cliff, and like the entire camp of these newcomers sets up to watch them. Everyone really wants to see if this person's going to make it to the top or not and what will happen to them. You can almost imagine a whole subculture of these sort of fledgling heroes. Oh, camp of fledglings, I like that, the camp of fledglings. And they're trying to ascend, to fly, so that's a nice image. I like the idea that there's this siblinghood of heroes that are gathered at the base of the cliffs who all want to ascend and learn these things from these great heroes. And that's it. We've managed to create a simple micro setting in just a few minutes using prompts from the Deck of Worlds. It's completely unique, and it's something that only the person who created it would really interpret the way that they did. So what's nice is that it's really powered by your own interpretations, by your own creative leaps, and the chances that you take as a creator and the connections that you make as you're generating your world. Somebody else could take this exact same set of cards and create something completely different. That's what I love about this deck. It's just endlessly reusable. If you want, you can download a free demo of the deck to try out for yourself at deckofworlds.com/demo. Also at deckofworlds.com, you will find expansions and other resources for really getting into the guts of world building and starting to enjoy it. And if you have any questions or you just want to talk shop, you can find us at @StoryEngineDeck on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For more demos or world building tips, follow us on YouTube, and definitely take a look at all the clickable spots around this video for more demos in this series, some of which are going to build on this very setting so that you can see how you can continue to deepen and broaden your world with Deck of Worlds. Thanks so much.